Well, folks, I'm decided to do a second hike here on October 12th, Friday, 2018. And this one's a little more risky because I got a wildcat over boulders and rocks. I came down up there at that ridge line and swooping down to the south, there's the peninsula that I hiked on this morning, the flat top thumb, as you remember, going out to the edge of that. And now I thought I'd try to make my way down to Atlantis, that series of white pocket-like formations at the foot of the thumb. And off there in the shadows in the distance, about 2 miles away, is the Lost City and Fork of Tongue Ridge. So I made it down the worst part fairly easily. Now I'm going to try to make my way down to Atlantis and see what's down there. Making our way down a sand wash here. This is what it's like hiking down slick rock and sand. And we're working our way to the foot of the flat top thumb over there and see what kind of domes and formations that we see at its base, on the west side of its base. From the top it looked kind of interesting, so I thought it might look good close up. And we're on our way. No trail, no footsteps out here. I doubt many people have gone this way. Maybe they're smart, I don't know. Interesting walls. And rich colors, a little bit moist still from yesterday's rain. But looks like this will be a fun hike. Not too hard. Coming out will be harder because I got to go a lot of uphill. But I think it's manageable if I go slow and easy, which I'm doing this whole hike since I'm out here by myself. But I do have my GPS emergency satellite device with me. Reminds me a little bit of the Paria Puppets hike, where you're going along a sand wash with rock and sand and seeing formations on your left side. Same kind of thing here, not as extensive there as the Puppets, but still pretty good. And look way up there at the top where I was this morning, hiking along the ridge top. Everywhere you go, this Navajo sandstone is highly inclined and tilted. Yeah, there's the end of the ridge, and we'll see what we see up ahead. All right, now I'm starting to see the white domes of the Atlantis outcrop, and I was going to head down this sand wash, but I encountered a bit of a drop-off that I don't think I'm ready to try. It's pretty steep down there. So, interesting circles and all kinds of shapes out here. There's those crusty fins again. So we're working down to those white domes, and I think I'll work my way down the right side and see if I can get up close to them. All right, here's another big drop-off. No way I could get down there, but I might be able to get over on the sand on the other side. See the sand over there? Maybe I'll give that a try. And that should take me right up there to the head of the Atlantis domes. And I think they'll be good. See the Lost City shining up there on the other side of Paria Canyon. How about that? And there's Tongue Valley, and you know, from other viewpoints you can even see Secret Pocket from over here. Okay, there's that drop off that I had to go around. So now I'm on the right side of it, walking on sand, and we should get a good look at Atlantis in a moment. I've been seeing animal tracks in the sand, possibly bighorn sheep and deer perhaps. All right, we're getting close now. Let's take a look as we approach. Well, there you have it, folks. Here's our first look at Atlantis. And boy, doesn't it look a lot like White Pocket in many ways. You've got curly domes and white and different colors. You don't have the real sharp color distinctions, but in good light it might look good. Okay, let's get a little closer to it. Okay, we have arrived at Atlantis at the outskirts here, and perhaps you'd like to hear my tall tale about how this was an ancient city that sank below the ocean, and the ancient Greeks wrote about it, but then the ocean has drained away, leaving these remains of castles and houses and domes for us to explore for the first time. Well, tall tale or not, I think it's going to be fun. So how would you like to be among the first to explore Atlantis with me? Let's walk down there and see what we can see. Pretty cool. A lot of structure here, a lot of patterns, and not quite the brilliant colors at White Pocket, but I think it's still pretty good. And we got some potholes down here. Here's one, and here's another, filled up from the rain. That's pretty cool. Whole string of potholes coming down this slot canyon. Okay, let's make our way down this narrow spot and see what's up ahead. More potholes. There's another one there. And wow, what do we have here? Check this out. Whoa, look at that. A pothole and then a steep drop off into a slot canyon. Let's see if we can get another look. That's amazing. Whoa, that's a long way down there. I can hear my echo. Boy, that is pretty cool. Beautiful domes on the top of it, and more domes on the east side. So I think this is pretty exciting. All right, here's a look. Boy, you're walking on slick rock and all of a sudden the bottom drops out from underneath you and you've got a pretty exciting slot canyon, and it continues on, and I'm sure it plunges right down into the Paria Canyon. So get a load of this. How about that? A new exciting feature here at the city of Atlantis, Paria Plateau, north side of the canyon, Arizona. Okay, I was looking for a way down so I could get across that smooth rock there, but trying to traverse that wall with narrow ledges and steep drop-offs, I considered it a little too risky being alone. So I'll content myself with this view, but I believe you're looking straight down the second crack across the river canyon over to second crack on the south side of the canyon. and pretty exciting to see it from this angle. And glistening there in the sunlight in the distance is the Lost City and Tongue Valley. So wow, pretty exciting. I think this was a rewarding hike. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to work my way over on that side of the Slot Canyon to get some more views of the domes, and then we'll call it a hike. If you're watching it, it indicates that they found the body and picked up my camera and decided to post it on my page. Now, hopefully that's not the end of the story, but maybe I ran out of battery. Actually, I got spare batteries. So if you're watching it, it's good news. It means I made it home, especially if I'm adding narration to this. I started way up there on top of that ridge, and that's where I got to go back. Okay, I'm going to work my way around the head of the Slot Canyon over to that side, and we'll see what we see. Well, I'll be darned. Look at this. This is a watering hole for wildlife and cattle, I assume. Because look at that, you've got a cowboy dam on the other side of this pond. Sure enough, that's not natural. That's an artificial dam, just like you find that white pocket. And it catches the water before it drains away so that cattle, I guess, and wildlife can get their water. It's amazing. I never would have expected to find a cowboy dam way out here. I mean, this is, I don't know how the cows could get here. They'd have to come down a steep cliff somehow and walk over rocks for a good 3/4 of a mile or so just to get here. Well, this definitely indicates that I'm not the first here, because somebody went to the trouble to haul concrete down here and build this dam so that water could be stored for future use. Oh, you never know what you're going to find out here in the Paria Plateau. All right, I found some more water holes. This is probably natural here because I don't see a artificial dam. Probably just got filled in with the rain, and looking good. The rock is pinkish beige out here. There's the Slot Canyon over there, see that? Yeah, that's a long drop. So we're over here on the east side of the Atlantis, checking it out and finding interesting things. That cowboy dam is right behind that tree there. So what do you think? Boy, there's good sized potholes all around here. If I pan around, you'll see more of them. Wherever there's a depression after the rain, you see water stored. And over here you can see where the Slot Canyon plunges down. Let's take a look. Yeah, check that out. That's way down there. Whoa, can't even see the bottom. So here we have some of that crusty rock that you find in places I find around the plateau at Wolf Knoll and Paria Puppets and other places. Soap Creek Tank. Just seems like certain layers in certain places get very hard and crusty and curvy, unlike the smooth Navajo sandstone in most places. All right, we're having a good time over here on the east side of Atlantis and seeing what else we can see. Coming up a lip, we just found another good water hole, and over here getting some good stripes and waves on the rocks. This is looking more like a white pocket material. All right, I'm here on the far eastern side of Atlantis. I'm going to walk out as far as I can safely and look down over the area. So let's do that together here. Right here at the base of the thumb, the flat top thumb that we hiked on this morning. They call it slick rock, but actually it has really good traction. Might get slick in the rain perhaps, but okay, there's some pearly white domes over there with good stripes. I think that would be a bit of a hard walk to go down and up to them, so maybe I'll zoom in on them with some stills, but looks good. And now we're getting good view of the Lost City and Forkatong Ridge up there. And if you look real carefully, let's see, I believe over there straight ahead is Secret Pocket. How about that? Yes, in fact, if you look carefully, you can see the lighthouse all the way from over here across the canyon. And White Pocket would be off in that direction. So another part of the Paria Plateau that few people ever see. I sure can't claim I was the first. They've got a cowboy dam down there. I don't know if the BLM built it for wild animals, or cowboys did for cattle, but it looks almost impossible for cattle to get down here. Perhaps there's a way, but I have to walk all the way back up to that ridge, so I got to save some energy and water for the return trip. I'll record points of interest along the way if there are some worth talking about. Otherwise, I'm gonna start heading back. Let's see how long we've gone so far. Gone 1.5 miles and 1 hour 23 minutes. So been a fun hike, not too hard to do. You can drive to the trailhead, and then in just about 1 mile of walking, you get into some good country that's fun to explore, not only with good domes you can look at, but at scenic views across the canyon and into the canyon that are really spectacular, especially from the top of this flat top thumb. So I'm eager to see the Lost City up close, maybe in a few days. If all goes well, I'll be way over there, 1.5 miles away, looking at those domes close up that I discovered 6 months ago in May. Actually 5 months ago. So hope you've enjoyed this hike. Another adventure out here, and can't say a new discovery, but a pretty rarely seen area of the Paria Plateau. Here's another cowboy dam. Yeah, definitely cemented together to, I guess it runs water down this channel toward the bigger dam. Yeah, you can see water swirl marks. So let's follow it down over here. So the water goes down and around. Some simple primitive engineering, I guess, and comes out, let's see, picking up sand and stuff on the way, I guess, but yeah, it makes its way down probably, and there's the cowboy dam over there. So they directed the water, and maybe several places, to get it to run into that small pond over there. But how about that? I don't know how cows get down here, but maybe bighorn sheep or deer or other wildlife appreciate man's engineering to steer water where they can get reliable water even in the hot summer months, perhaps. All right, we're heading back now. Walking on slick rock, sometimes little drop-offs. With my Runtastic app, I can see where I've been and the way to get back. Also true of my GPS Garmin inReach Explorer. Keeps track of where I've been. In fact, it's sending track information to my shareable map page so that relatives and friends can know exactly where I am. Good insurance to have. All right, get my way back to the sand wash, and I think we're on the track back to the car. Another good way to get back is to follow your footsteps. Can't do that on slick rock, but when you're coming down sand, you have an advantage of footprints. It's not fun going up sand. Easier going down, but we'll pick it up later. All right, getting toward the finish line. I've had 636 feet elevation gain on this trip, and now it looks like another 100, 200 feet to the top, and very steep, but take my time and we'll get up there. All right, made it back, got up that last hill, about 150 feet elevation gain, pretty steep, but take your time, not too bad. So overall elevation gain was about 850 feet, I think. And looking down into the area where we hiked, sun's getting a little bit low in the west now, and that was about a 2.5 hour hike, roughly 3 miles at a leisurely pace. And now we're back at the trailhead and having a good time. So thanks for joining me again. See you on the next hike in the Paria Plateau.